Hello everyone, today I'm featuring more of my tournament gameplay from my tournament winning run on Tommy's Tuesdays practice tour with over 100 players, earning me a spot in the Nino Pokebros Invitational. All great content creators, Tom Hayden, Nino Pokebros. Shout out to those two for doing so much for the community. And also, today's episode, we have a special shout out to That's a Plus One, another great content creator and someone who I personally call a great friend. We have become friends through the Twitch scene, and now we go to regionals together, we test teams together. Our team building style is a little bit different, but it works out well for testing with each other, and you can see our battle styles are colliding right here. We're both 5-0 in the tournament at this point, and so we've both solidified top cut. This is the best time to fight your friends when it doesn't matter who wins, you both make top cut. So here we see he leads Indeedee, which is Rocky Helmet, and Specs Fluttermane, which is Terra Fairy, and I lead my Grimmsnarl and Scarf Landorus. So I think my best play here is to just go for the Terra Steel Grimmsnarl. In hindsight, I don't know if I should commit my Terra to Grimmsnarl in this matchup, but I do get up my light screen with the Terra Steel here and go for a Rock Slide to mitigate the redirection and potentially get some flinches on the Fluttermane. I do think one flinch does guarantee, well, not guarantee I win the game, but it does put me in a great position for my backline. And, you know, sometimes you need to get a little bit lucky to win a tournament. So we're going for it. We're going for the flinches, we're going for the Scarf Rock Slide. That is what makes Landorus the king of VGC. They do go for the Follow Me, anticipating that I might go for a U-turn. They can get some Rocky Helmet chip on me, but I do just go for the Rock Slide. I have my light screen up. They do go for the Terra Fairy, Specs Dazzling Gleam, which does over half to my Landorus, so I will go down to the next one, barring a flinch on the Fluttermane. So I do go for the Rock Slide, and I actually think this is a good time to get my Toxapex in. I think that I might want my Landorus in. They're locked into Dazzling Gleam. They won't be doing much damage to my Toxapex. The only attacking move on their Indeedee is Dazzling Gleam as well. I force the Follow Me by going for the Spirit Break. I do, unfortunately, take some Rocky Helmet chip, but I should live one more Dazzling Gleam and get a Spirit Break off. So the Indeedee, again, just being smart, going for that redirection. Follow me over and over. It's strong for a reason. I do live with the Grimmsnarl, able to get the Indeedee down to 1 HP, and it lives. And I go down to my to the Rocky Helmet chip. And unfortunately, with the Indeedee living, I don't get to come in here with single target damage into the Fluttermane. I'm deciding which would be better here, Landorus or Goodra. I do think Goodra is correct. I go for a Life Dew and an Infestation into the Fluttermane. Again, I don't want to take any Rocky Helmet chip. Their Dazzling Gleam shouldn't break my substitute. And because their Indeedee is alive, I can't go for the Heavy Slam into Fluttermane because it will get redirected. So I figured this was my best play to get a little health onto Toxapex. I still have my light screen up. This allows me to Heavy Slam the Fluttermane next turn after the Indeedee goes down to the Infestation tick. We take a decent chunk, but as you see, we don't break our substitute. Life Dew brings us back up to full with our leftovers, and it helps our Toxapex stay a little healthy, so I'm not feeling awful about the position. However, this does allow Thatsa to bring in a Pokemon for free. If it's their Urshifu, they can close combat me because I've already committed my Terra, so it's not looking great. They do bring in the Urshifu here, and this is where I'm trying to decide, do I need my Goodra more or do I need my Landorus more? I decide to sack my Landorus, hoping that the Intimidate allows my Goodra to live a close combat in the future. Oh, sorry. I swap in my Landorus here, hoping that he messed up, and that it would allow the Dazzling Gleam plus Close Combat to not KO Goodra. However, the Dazzling Gleam chip does allow the Intimidated Close Combat to knock out my Goodra. However, he does get a critical hit. I haven't run the damage calc. I hope it didn't matter. But unfortunately, that is one of the weaknesses of the team. We can get critical hit. So that does bring us down to the lonely Toxapex. I don't see a way. I do infest the Urshifu. My better play here is probably to infest the Flutter Mane, try to figure out what he brought in the back, hope for a double Baneful Bunker. Unfortunately, that is not what happens. I infest the Urshifu. The Surging Strikes would take me out through Baneful Bunker the next turn, so it doesn't matter. So I don't find out what he brings in the back. His aggression was able to break through my bulk in this game 1, so we are heading into a game 2. So I'm trying to think, does he switch it up? Should I switch it up? I do realize I really don't like committing my Terra to Grimmsnarl. I think I needed it for Goodra in this matchup, just to mitigate the damage from Urshifu in the back. So I also think that Sinistcha is probably going to be a big part in helping me win this game. I just need to avoid the Arcanine. So I do lead Landorus plus Goodra to force follow me, and then I bring Sinistcha and Toxapex in the back. Sinistcha is one of my better ways of dealing with the Urshifu, and so I need to have it. Great lead, Arcanine, Flutter Mane. I do think that this lead kind of puts a lot of pressure on. They do intimidate my Heavy Slam, but if Flutter Mane isn't incredibly bulky, a lot of them do go down to a single Heavy Slam. So I do Heavy Slam the Flutter Mane, and I do just go for a Rock Slide because I anticipate the Arcanine will Terra, which it does. So it goes into Terra Fairy, and they are Terra Fairy Terra Blast. And this is a Banded Arcanine for reference. I go for my Rock Slide. I miss the Flutter Mane. Another reason why I went for the Rock Slide plus Heavy Slam is if the Intimidate would allow them to live Heavy Slam, then the Rock Slide chip would finish it off. However, the Flutter Mane isn't as bulk invested as I thought it would be, so the Rock Slide miss did not matter. We got the one-hit KO with Heavy Slam. We lived the double up, which is very good for us. However, they do bring in Iron Bundle, which does outspeed my Landorus. So I'm thinking here, do I need to preserve either of these Pokemon? Does switching help me? I do body press. What did I body press the Arcanine? Maybe I'm anticipating a switch. I should Heavy Slam if that's what I did. Okay, I don't believe I made that play. So here, I do decide if he doesn't switch, then I am fine sacking both these Pokemon to put my Sinistcha in a good position to win the game, because they're at -1 and stuck into Terra Blast. So I could freely Terra in that position. They do knock out my Goodra. I get some Rock Slide damage onto the Iron Bundle. And here I'm debating which would be better to bring in, the Sinistcha or the Toxapex. Their Iron Bundle also notably has Encore, which makes this endgame a little tricky. So I do Calm Mind here and switch to the Toxapex. I anticipate that the Iron Bundle will protect this turn, although attacking is still probably in my best interest. So they withdraw the Indeedee and bring in Arcanine, protecting the Iron Bundle, which gives them a safe, if I Terra Fire, now you get Rock Slided. If you Calm Mind to take my Freeze Dries better, now you get Encored. I felt fine doing this play because of the forced Encore, and and I could get my Intimidate onto the Arcanine again. At this point, I'm thinking Sinistcha is the way I win this game. So what I actually end up doing here is going for the Rage Powder. I actually can't remember. I don't think that's the play I made. Yep, I go for the Machagacha, forcing the Encore so they can't get the Freeze Dry damage into me this turn. And they are forced to go for the Rock Slide in case I Terra Fairy. They only have Ice moves on this Iron Bundle, which is important to note. And now my Sinistcha is Encored into Calm Mind, so I do feel forced to switch it out to mitigate the damage from the Arcanine, but I will be able to infest the Arcanine at -1. The Iron Bundle is infested. They can't swap out into Indeedee. This play does allow them to get an easy Freeze Dry into my Landorus, however, so that goes down, and now it all boils down to my Sinistcha. And unfortunately, I do miss, or I do flinch from the Rock Slide, so I can't get my Infestation in. So they could switch out now into Indeedee. However, they do make a very safe play, anticipating that I need to either Terra Fire to live the Freeze Dry, or go down to the Rock Slide. However, I live the Rock Slide on 5 HP because of the Intimidate from Landorus, and I get a burn onto the Arcanine, sealing it up even more. Burning an Arcanine, not usually a thing you see. And I flinch yet again on my Toxapex. Toxapex is doing what it does best, sitting there and getting flinched. Again, that is one of the big weaknesses of this team. If you do adapt it in any way, think about those weaknesses. The more stally and bulky you get, the more susceptible you are to getting crit and getting flinched. So it's not a perfect team. Fortunately, I dodged the Rock Slide here. The Dazzling Gleam does not much, and I am able to just heal myself up, get some big damage off with Machagachas. And will my Toxapex flinch yet again? Find out on tomorrow's episode. We don't flinch, so we get a Substitute up, and the Substitute being up does seal up the end game. They can't break it with a Rock Slide and Dazzling Gleam, so I can easily get a Infestation or a Recover off, and I will win. That's a Seize the Writing on the Wall and forfeits, so we do go to a Game 3. And again, I believe Vatsa is one of the best players at switching things up. We're in each other's head a lot. He actually invented the Binding Band Toxapex set back in 2019 with a team we worked on, which would have been around Worlds 2019 time. It was when I was relatively new to the scene. One of the first teams I succeeded with, and one of the teams I'm clearly succeeding with now. So maybe bulky and stally and being gross is what I do best. And I apologize for that, but if it wins, it wins, and the most important thing in this game is winning. So, I do switch it up a little bit. I do think I have the correct lead and the correct Pokemon. So I lead Gudra Toxapex, anticipating that Urshifu will be coming in the lead, due to my Landorus putting in a lot of work. So I do think Urshifu is being led. However, I don't think I anticipate what the Urshifu will do correctly. So when I see this lead, Indeedee Urshifu, I think exactly what I need to do is Terra, Shelter. I like that play. However, what I need to do here is switch my Toxapex out into Sinistcha, so I have some Machagacha spread damage into their Terra Water Urshifu. Now, I don't think that this play is going to be happening. I imagine that I have forced his hand a little bit, but he does just follow me Swords Dance. I'm like, okay, now he has to close combat, you know. Again, maybe this turn one play isn't too bad, but now that the Swords Dance is up, I can't let him keep getting them for free. I need to switch out into my Sinistcha here to threaten Matcha Gotcha, but I anticipate that he will call my switch, I guess, and so I go for the painful bunker, or I go for the recover, anticipating that he might call the switch, go for a Surging Strikes into the Toxapex, try to get the 2-hit KO. I don't know what I'm thinking. Of course he's just going to follow me, go to +6. So here we are. My Toxapex is still in. I haven't switched to Matcha Gotcha, and the Urshifu is at +6. However, my Goodra is also at +6. However, my Goodra is not Shell Armor. Again, this substitute doesn't do anything. Toxapex is dead weight in this position. I need to save it in the back. I need to put on pressure immediately with Sinistcha. Don't make the same mistakes I do and let your opponent's Pokemon get set up like this against your stall team. This is how you lose. I do live the Surging Strikes on 11 HP. The Body Press KOs Indeedee. However, I do go down to the Rocky Helmet. The Urshifu does get infested, but at this position, I think it's too little too late. I can bring in my Sinistcha here. However, the Urshifu at +6 is just putting on way too much pressure. He has the speed control, brings in the Iron Bundle. Great play in case I brought in my Landorus here to try to Terra Blast the Urshifu with a crit. He's just preserving all of the win conditions that he can quite well. Toxapex, again, isn't doing anything on the field right now. The infestation is too slow for a +6 Urshifu. So I go for the play that I can to hope that somehow I live with the Citrus Berry and my resistance to water. But again, a +6 Urshifu with guaranteed crits is just not simple to combat. And again, I feel like, game 1 and 2 were reasonable, and then I let game 3 get out of hand. You can already see this is not going to be great for me. Toxapex is barely doing any damage. I can't even Baneful Bunker to stop the Surging Strikes. Landorus comes in, and Iron Bundle can easily freeze dry me. It's 3-1 with the Toxapex there. I Rock Slide and I Infest. Well, I actually just forfeit the match here because there's no way I can win. The Iron Bundle outspeeds me. So GG's to Thatsa. Again, great friend, great content creator. Happy to know him. Check him out. I will link in the description below. And thank you again for coming. So that puts us both in top cut. Thatsa at 6-0 and me at 5-1. But notably, that does give us both high seeds, and top cut is like top 10. It's everyone who went X1 or undefeated and X1 made top cut. So there was about 10 of us. So there were a couple people who had to play into the top 8 in top cut, but because of our seeding, That's and I both were able to get a bye in that round and go straight to the top 8. That's all I have for you. I will see you next time.